So I'm sitting here. I had the great fortune earlier this morning at CPAC to be interviewed by Andrew of the Broadside.
Yes.
Andrew Langer
Langer. Yeah.
of the Broadside. Great interview, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Good.
I actually had the fortune of interviewing you this morning.
Well,
on the Broadside.
we had a good time.
Yeah, we did.
And so we had talked about a lot of issues, and I want to cover some of those issues with you. First of all, I like getting people's take on CPAC. I know you're a veteran.
Sure.
So, but I still like your
No,
take.
I mean, listen, to call CPAC a conference or a convention understates it grossly. CPAC, as Dave Keenes and I talked about yesterday, it's a happening. I mean, it really is a larger-than-life event. What I love about this year is, unlike 4 years ago during the presidential cycle, we don't have the candidate predetermined going into it. I think that brings a lot of extra energy to CPAC that is it's just fantastic. It keeps getting bigger. It's just a wonderful event. I always forget how energized I get after CPAC or during CPAC, and I'm just reveling in it right now.
Well, it's my first one, and it is, and I got to tell you, the shock at the youth is. I mean, that's the thing that I'm just most shocked is that. I mean, gorgeous youth.
Yes.
You know, everybody thinks. I mean, we're proving that conservatives are really a good-looking group of people.
Well, I listen, not to even comment on that, because certainly it's true, and I know my wife's going to be watching this. But the fact is that she won't let me go to CPAC anymore.
Right.
But CPAC,
they're all ugly.
CPAC has always been, or it really grown in the last 10 years to be a youth-oriented event. It's one of the things that we count on in terms of how we do our messaging. That's why we brought our big project, the Fan Freedom Project, here this year.
Right.
I've always been able to find interns and folks to help out with things at every time we sort of turn around at one of these events. In fact, we actually had an intern bail on us today,
right.
And we were able to find a college student almost immediately who's just a rock star. You get these committed conservative kids coming out to CPAC, and we just love having them here. They do such a good job.
No, I agree. Well, let's talk about some of the issues. Sure. So you're with an institute,
I
correct?
run a group called the Institute for Liberty. We focus on small business and entrepreneurship and sort of push back against government, because every time government grows, it does so at the expense of individual rights. We think America, one of the things that makes America an exceptional nation is our entrepreneurial instinct, and entrepreneurialism and small business are under siege right now at all levels of government. And so one of the things that we do is we work hard to push back on anybody who's doing that. Mostly this year, one of our major themes is crony capitalism, especially when the big guys get together with government and try to push the small guys out. Right. It's one of the big themes with the Fan Freedom Project.
I was going to say, let's talk about fan freedom, because this is a thing where the tickets.
It really is. It's a great issue. It's a fun issue for us, especially because it does a number of different things. We've talked about sort of how we bring more people into the movement and explain ourselves. One of the things we've lost is the idea of what private property rights are and how they're important, especially among young people. The Fan Freedom Project is a way that we can really reach out to those kids who are out there. They may not own property, but they certainly understand about buying tickets and what that entails. And frankly, buying tickets from friends, trading tickets with friends. And so, tickets are the only good in the free marketplace that has this sort of extraordinary carve out under law where you really can't effectively have a secondary marketplace. There are all these sort of regulatory machinations that go on in terms of how people buy and sell tickets. In the last 10 years, we've had some really great entrepreneurs who found ways to make it easier to connect a willing buyer with a willing seller of concert and sporting event tickets. The big guys on the block, they don't like that, so they're trying to shut down those secondary marketplaces like StubHub and Craigslist. So they have this thing called restrictive ticketing, which is where now you have to show up at a venue with your credit card and ID, and it shuts it down. Not only can you not sell or buy a ticket on a secondary marketplace with that, you can't give a ticket away to somebody.
Right.
And it's not just a parent who might buy a ticket for a gift for their kids, but folks who might want to give those tickets to charity, a boss who might want to reward his employees by giving them the company season tickets to the company box somewhere.
It's amazing to me that these guys would want to restrict that.
It is astounding. You think about it. Nobody is losing out in a secondary marketplace. The venues themselves, they get their cut. They get a nice profit on it. The venues get a nice profit when folks go in and buy stuff.
Buy a bunch of goods.
It's very exactly.
It's overpriced.
That's exactly right. Certainly the artists, they don't lose out. They get their cut on it. That's why their ticket prices have been going up in the first place. And really, if somebody wants to pay $16,000 for a $1,000 Super Bowl ticket, why should any of us care? That's a sign that the economy is good. Yeah, that we want them to do that. We want to encourage folks to do it. So we are on the ground in 8 states right now, pushing back on this with, frankly, unfortunately, with legislation to stop restrictive ticketing. It's one of those things where sometimes in order to protect individual rights, especially property rights, you need to have legislation out there to do that. So we're pushing on that. And then we're going to really make the push, at least the Institute for Liberty is going to be making the push to roll back the other laws that restrict the sale of tickets on an open marketplace.
Very cool.
It's fun.
Well, man, listen, it's been great talking to you. Tell me the websites. And
sure, absolutely. You can find us, first of all, find us on Twitter at I Choose Liberty or at Andrew_Langer. I'm a fervent tweeter. Also on Facebook, we have an Institute for Liberty page. www.joinifl.org is our website. And fanfreedomproject.org is the Fan Freedom Project's website.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Good meeting you, man.
Appreciate it, Kevin.
All right.